stood out, not just this year, but over a lifetime. So I'd like to bring up Jody to come help me out.
Yeah. There's only one more award.
Not that anyone in this room would ever file a protest, but if you find yourself in the protest room, perhaps as a witness, you may question what qualifies the judges to determine whether or not the sailing rule was broken. The recipient of Mass Bay Sailing Association's 2014 Distinguished Service to Sailing is one of those judges with more than 60 years of sailing experience and more than 35 years of serving as a judge. He is John Dieselman. In researching our honoree's background in order to document his accomplishments and contribution to our sport, it became obvious that the sailing community has among its members an individual with a wealth of knowledge gained from hundreds of regattas, races, cruises, passages, and tens of thousands of hours racing and sailing in North America, the Caribbean, and European waters for the last 60 plus years. His sailing resume reads like an adventure novel and includes exploits that appear on many of our personal bucket lists. After college in the mid-50s, he sailed sunfishing in Scituate, which led to organizing frostbiting in the early 60s. He campaigned a Thunderbird named Pegasus and was an active member of the Thunderbird fleet in the 1970s, winning the Spirit Trophy multiple times. In the 1980s, he campaigned a J-29, also named Pegasus, and in addition to his own children, added 3 new daughters-in-law and a son-in-law to the Dieselman sailing fold. Not content with simply sailing one-design boats and competing in PHR events in Mass Bay and New England, John has participated in 16 Bermuda races from 1978 to 2012, the last of which was completed as an octogenarian. John has competed in the Chapman Bowl, Caribbean 200, Pagawi, JFK, PHRF New England Championship, Quincy Bay Race Week, Scituate Invitational, Buzzards Bay Regatta, Block Island Race Week, Marblehead, Halifax, and multiple Newport Bermuda races. John is a lifetime member of the Scituate Boat Club and has served as its Commodore from 1969 to 1970 and again 1985 to 1986, where he promoted his junior sailing program. He's a longtime member of the Blue Water Sailing Club and a member of the Corinthian Yacht Club since 1998. In addition to his service on CYC race committees since 2000, John has shared his knowledge and wisdom at many sailing seminars on rules, race management, and boat preparation for PHRF events, Marblehead Racing Association, and offshore racing events such as Bermuda and Halifax. As the longest serving judge in Area A of U.S. Sailing, he was appointed senior judge by U.S. Sailing in 1978, and more recently as a national judge in 2013. John has also served as the regional administrative judge and has been associated with the New England Yacht Racing Council. we've heard about John's sailing experience. His judging experience has included events large and small, from the America's Cup challenges to local MRA events. John Tagliamonte has provided us with a story that exemplifies John's Solomon-like wisdom. John may not remember it, but it made a lasting impression with John Tagliamonte. John Dieselman was jury chair, and John Taggs was a newly minted 24-year-old judge for the 1990 Marblehead Olympic Classes Regatta, which was also a qualifier for the U.S., Canadian, and Bermuda Olympic teams. A redress case came to them where one race committee placed its large orange tetrahedron fluid mark approximately 100 feet next to another race committee's large orange tetrahedron windward mark. Equal numbers of boats throughout all positions on the windward course rounded each mark. Each race officer was adamant that they set their own course perfectly and did nothing that could possibly warrant redress to tarnish their race. In the hearing, with Olympic berths at stake, John Dieselman and John Tagg soon discovered they were the only active racers on the jury and were the only ones to believe that sailors who sailed the wrong course around the adjacent poorly placed mark deserved redress. After extensive debate, John Dieselman led this old boys jury to the correct conclusion that the error was with the organizing authority covering both race committees, and technically that they could stretch the definition of race committee to grant redress of an error made by another race committee, while serving the best interests of all the sailors, without worrying about an individual race officer's pride while hiding behind a strict interpretation of the rule. John Tagliamonte believes that this result, decided in part through John Dieselman's courage and just leadership, has caused the redress rules since 1992 to cover such an error by the organizing authority. This was a formative and essential example to a young judge, emphasizing that judges are here not in any way for their own benefit, but rather to serve the sport and the competitors by creating and maintaining a fair playing field. When I sought input for this citation, I was greeted with responses such as great candidate, great choice, accomplished, a true gentleman, amiable, and an expert. He is all of these, but John's distinguished service also includes his greatest accomplishment and contribution to the sailing community, which is his legacy. He raised 4 children who were sailors themselves and sailing instructors in Scituate, Cohasset, and Hingham. They, in turn, further expanded the family business to 9 sailing grandchildren. The Scituate Boat Club's wall is plastered with the name of Dieselman, and not just John's, but his family. Congratulations to John and the Dieselman family.